Have you ever found yourself anxiously replaying a conversation, trying to figure out exactly what was meant? Or perhaps fretting over a future event, desperate to know how it will turn out? That familiar ache, that yearning for a definitive answer, a solid ground beneath your feet, it's a feeling most of us know well. We live in a world that often feels chaotic, unpredictable, and sometimes, frankly, overwhelming. And in response, there's a deep, powerful human drive to find certainty. We crave it, we seek it out, and often we believe that if we just knew for sure, everything would be better. But what if this very pursuit of certainty, this relentless quest to eliminate all unknowns, is actually a hidden source of anxiety, stifling our growth and distorting our view of reality? What if the path to greater well-being isn't about finding certainty, but about learning to thrive in its absence? Today, we're going to explore why we're so drawn to certainty, and more importantly, what we can do instead to navigate an uncertain world with greater resilience and peace of mind. Our desire for certainty isn't a flaw. It's deeply wired into our very being, rooted in a fundamental evolutionary need for safety and survival. Think back to our earliest ancestors. Uncertainty in their world meant genuine threats. A rustle in the bushes could be a predator. An unfamiliar berry could be poison. Their brains became incredibly adept at prediction, at seeking patterns and control, because this skill directly impacted their chances of staying alive. Neuroscientists like Jeff Hawkins remind us that our brains are, in many ways, prediction machines. When we encounter something uncertain, our brain's limbic system, the part responsible for emotions and memory, often lights up, triggering a stress response. It perceives the unknown as a potential threat, even if it's just an unclear email or an undecided plan. This innate wiring has served us well, helping us identify dangers and make quick decisions throughout history. However, in our modern world, this ancient wiring can sometimes work against us. We often find ourselves falling prey to what psychologists call cognitive biases. For instance, confirmation bias leads us to favor information that confirms what we already believe, creating comforting but often narrow perspectives. The illusion of control makes us overestimate our ability to manage events that are largely out of our hands. And premature closure pushes us to rush to judgment just to gain a quick sense of certainty, even if it means oversimplifying complex situations. Dr. Robert Burton even describes certainty not as a logical conclusion, but as an involuntary mental sensation. Our brains can quite literally filter out complex or contradictory information to achieve that emotional state of feeling sure. Philosophically, this quest isn't new. Thinkers from René Descartes searching for absolute truth to Erich Fromm, who famously posited that the quest for certainty blocks the search for meaning. Uncertainty is the very condition that impels us to unfold our powers, have explored this deep human inclination. The problem isn't just a personal one, it's a growing societal concern. We're seeing more and more analysis suggesting that this relentless pursuit of certainty can actually be detrimental, creating what some call a certainty trap. The more we grasp for it, the more elusive it becomes, often leading to increased anxiety rather than peace. One key concept here is intolerance of uncertainty, or IU. Researchers like Michel Dugas define it as a personality disposition where uncertainty, unpredictability, and doubt are perceived as inherently intolerable and threatening. Imagine someone who simply cannot stand not knowing. For them, the absence of certainty is a constant source of distress. Gravelly, those with high IU are more susceptible to chronic worry, overthinking, and even more severe conditions like generalized anxiety, obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, and depression, as highlighted by experts like Jane Morris. The consequences of excessive certainty seeking can ripple through our lives. It can lead to procrastination because we're waiting for the perfect conditions, micromanaging others because we can't tolerate unknown variables, or stifling our creativity because we're afraid to step outside proven paths. It can also distort our view of reality, making us miss opportunities for growth and connection. On a deeper level, it manifests as chronic stress, sleeplessness, and even interpersonal conflict, all fueled by the tension of trying to control the uncontrollable. And modern life, unfortunately, often exacerbates this. Social media algorithms, for instance, are designed to show us content that aligns with our existing beliefs, reinforcing confirmation bias and creating echo chambers. this limits our exposure to diverse perspectives and complexity, making the world seem simpler, more certain than it truly is. Whether it's anxieties around powerful emerging technologies like AI, or the rise of futurist fetishists trying to predict every outcome, our society constantly grapples with the pervasive nature of uncertainty. So, if chasing certainty is a trap, what's the alternative? The growing consensus among psychologists and philosophers alike is that the path to greater well-being lies in actively embracing uncertainty. It's not about ignoring risk or being reckless. It's about cultivating a mindset and a set of practices that allow us to navigate the unknown not with fear, but with resilience, adaptability, and even curiosity. Let's explore some actionable steps we can take. First, build your uncertainty tolerance. This means actively exposing yourself in small, manageable ways to situations where you don't have all the answers. It's like building a muscle. The more you practice comfortably enduring the unknown, the stronger you become. Second, practice mindfulness and focus on the present moment. So much of our anxiety about uncertainty is future-focused. By anchoring ourselves in what's happening right now, we can reduce the mental energy spent on what-ifs and how to make sures. Third, challenge your need for certainty. Actively question the belief that you need absolute guarantees to function or be happy. Is absolute certainty truly possible in this complex world? And how often has striving for it actually prevented you from moving forward? Fourth, cultivate acceptance and practice letting go. Uncertainty is an inevitable, intrinsic part of life. Trying to eliminate it is like trying to stop the tide. Accepting this fundamental truth can be incredibly liberating. Fifth, shift from a need to be right to a desire for curiosity and exploration. As psychologist Todd Kashdan highlights, when we approach the unknown with curiosity, it transforms from a threat into an opportunity for discovery and learning. Instead of demanding an answer, ask, what could this teach me? Sixth, focus your energy on what you can control. There will always be aspects of life beyond our influence. Direct your efforts towards the actionable steps within your sphere, rather than dwelling on the vast expanse of the uncontrollable. Seventh, actively build your resilience. This involves developing coping strategies, a strong support system, and a belief in your ability to adapt and thrive amidst change, rather than crumble under it. And finally, practice perspective taking. Deliberately consider diverse viewpoints and embrace perplexity. Recognize that multiple truths can exist, and that sometimes the most profound wisdom comes from acknowledging that we simply don't know, and that's okay. Philosophical schools like existentialism have long offered a framework for confronting the anxieties of existence, not by denying uncertainty, but by embracing individual freedom, responsibility, and the profound act of meaning-making in an inherently uncertain world. The future, both personally and globally, is not about finding a magic formula for absolute certainty. It's about cultivating adaptive expertise, the ability to learn, experiment, and thrive, even when the rules are constantly changing. It's about building a collective and individual capacity to navigate the unknown, to learn from mistakes, and to approach an inherently unpredictable world with a proactive, curious, and resilient spirit. So, the next time that familiar yearning for certainty arises, pause. Acknowledge the feeling, but then gently remind yourself, perhaps the greatest strength isn't found in knowing all the answers, but in daring to live and even flourish in the beautiful, messy, and infinitely unfolding landscape of the unknown. Thank you for joining me today.